Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of my team, I would like to thank WCSB for allowing us to present our high school paper, which is about the Philippine Flying Dragon. My name is Juan Angelo Frejas, and these are my group mates, Mr. Gideon Fajardo, and over there is Mr. Moraleta. So, just to share to you a little story about how we chose the lizard. First of all, we didn't actually start with the lizard because that was not given in the list of species to study. It was all frogs, birds. It was all the common in our area. So we decided to go for something that's not in the norm of to study. So we decided to research, and we found that there was a Philippine flying dragon. So the first thing we did was to research about the dragon, and we found out there are dragons. Unlike before, they're big, but now they're small. So we decided to study about the Philippine flying dragon. So our study area is the Tungtong River. Tungtong River is located within Region 4A or Calabarzon. So zooming in, the Tungtong River is actually 15 kilometers long, stretching from the source, which is in Beverly Hills, Antipolo, Rizal, all the way to Pasig City by the Mangahan floodway. Since the Tungtong River is near our school, we decided to adapt the river and start an advocacy, which is now known as the Tungtong River Conservation Project. With the TRCP, we are able to experience firsthand how to apply what we have learned inside the classroom. So what we aim to do in our study is that we try to first do a survey. Actually, our paper is a two-part objective. The first half is to do an intense survey of the different species found in the Tungtong River. And secondly is to create a taxonomic key, or an image-based taxonomic key, which involves the lizards found in the Philippines. So, as part of the two-way objective, there's also a two-way significance. First, we decided to do the survey on the Philippine flying dragon because it's endemic and it's part of the ecological balance. And second, we decided to do the image-based taxonomic key because apparently many people aren't interested anymore because it's quite difficult to memorize names. So we decided to create a taxonomic key which could be user-friendly, and this is a way to encourage other people, especially those unlike us who have a specialty in science, to tackle the natural history of the entire Philippines. So our species is found within the order Squamata, or the order of scaled reptiles. This includes the lizards and snakes. The order Squamata is the biggest order in the entire class Reptilia and can be further divided into three subsections. First is Serpentes, Amphibiania, and suborder Lacertilia. But our species is found in suborder Lacertilia. Before we conducted our survey, there was already previously one done by Mr. Emerson C. So we decided to add more to what he has done, and we found only two species. The first one is the Bronchosella marmorata, or the marble bloodsucker, which is a Philippine endemic. And of course, our species of interest, the Philippine flying dragon. So, the Philippine flying dragon belongs to family Agamidae, genus Draco. It is one of the rare Dracos to be found in the Southeast Asian flying dragons. Primarily, the Draco's Pylopterus can be found in disturbed habitats with coconut trees because of termites, which is their primary source of food. One way to distinguish the characteristic between a male and a female, other than looking at their penis, is to look at their dewlap, or the flap in their dorsal side of the head. So usually for the male, which is this one, the male has 3 times the size of its female, while the female on the other hand is not triangular in shape and is only 1/3. I'm sorry about this one, the female, because that's our own specimen and that's the closest picture we've got to showing the dewlap. So I'm here to tell you how we did our entire study. So this will be this is what we have done after consulting several names in specialties of herpetology. First of all would be Dr. Terry Orr, who was in the University of New South Wales. We consulted him via email on what to do to study lizards and what specific species to study in case. And of course, our very neat local expert, Mr. Dr. Arvin Diezmos, who's not here, who is currently working at the Philippine National Museum. On one occasion, while we were with Dr. Diezmos, we were fortunate enough to meet another lizard expert over there, Mr. Dr. Rafe M. Brown. We had the opportunity to talk to him in the Philippine National Museum. So after consulting what our entire protocol would be, we decided to first gather our necessary materials like our uniform and what the necessary field equipment we need. Afterwards, we scout for possible areas where the Philippine flying dragon can be found. Our criteria was it's either a forested area or areas with coconut trees. And we only found 3 sites possible. The first one is Moraleta Hills, which is a small village beside the Tongtong River, the Good Morning Garden of our school, and of course, the Tongtong River. So, this is the map of our study area. As you can see, we focus here on the small circle of the Moraleta Hills. So, Tongtong River is here, which is not shown because I would like to focus more on the place where we did our primary study. So, in our primary study, we noticed that several Dracos have already been living with residential areas, plus they are within a span of 700 meters. So, meaning to say each Draco family is close to each other. So, we consulted Dr. Diezmos and he said that we do a transect study, which is a good way to start our initial behavioral study, which can be of good use to future references in using, studying Draco's Phylopterus. Afterwards, we decided to do our secondary survey, which is to find other species of lizards in the Tongtong River. So, usually what we do is, when we see one, we try to catch it and bring it to the lab. There was one occasion where we were so happy that the flying lizard decided to glide away, and so my fellow teammates decided to follow him. And when we bring back the specimen to the laboratory, we measure first its weight, then its morphometrics. And afterwards, we decide to document and release. Since the lizard is quite excited and all to be measured and excited to get away from us, we decided that at least 2 people, should measure the lizard because it tends to be so agitated and excited. And yeah, it can't hide. So afterwards, because on every civil scientific study regarding a specific species, there's always should be vouchering specimens. So we decided to, since it primarily we're just high school students and this was not part of our study yet, since it's not our professional work, but still we asked Dr. Diezmos if he could train us to know how to preserve. And afterwards, we were able to preserve at least 2 specimens, 1 Philippine flying dragon and 1 Bronchosella marmorata. So that was actually just the first half of our objective. The second half is actually about Lucid. Lucid is a multimedia identification key, or a taxonomic key in short, which could be useful to people who are not majors in science or who has not a specific field in science. So let me show you how Lucid works actually. Well, before that, I'd like to show you that Lucid is actually free, so you can download it and create your own taxonomic key on any specific species you want. But I'm here to tackle about the Lucid itself. So the Lucid can be divided into 2 subsections. The first one is the features and states, and the second, the entities. So if we focus our attention on this one, so this is the features and states. So this is the one used to classify classify the different species. It is used to segregate what species falls under the category of the following. Example, in our data, we use that what lizard falls under, lizards with padded toes. And the other part is the entities, or the species we try to sort, which is this one. And if you try to play it, it is actually more user-friendly because, for example, we try to, there is a man who is not really with a taxonomic background, and he tries to, try to identify a lizard, but he has no idea. So what's the purpose of this one is to sort out those possible and not possible species. For example, if the man saw a lizard with a padded toe, he can use our Lucid to segregate those lizards with padded toes. The one on the upper right, these are the species with the padded toes. So meaning these are the species that remain or fall under the category of padded toes. While this one are those who are discarded. So this is helpful for us if you fellow scientists can contribute also or try to make their own on their specific field. Anyhow, back to the PowerPoint. So finally, before I exit Lucid, I would like to ask, of course, what's more convenient to use? Lucid or this one, a traditional field guide where you have to have very vast knowledge about how to study specimens. So my main point about using Lucid is quite simple. It's just to show you that there's always there's an easier way to classify specimens. In summary, the Draco Spilopterus seems to be present in the Tungtung River in Maharlika. However, since we haven't done a comparative study, it could be recommendable that there should be a comparative study between residential areas and wooded areas. For example, in the map of Maharlika, here and here. This could be a good way to start a comparative study. To date, we have actually only identified 6 species of lizards. But hopefully there will be other people who are interested to do more intense survey of the species of the tungtong. And the database Lucid can be more helpful if more pictures and more information can be added. Thank you. That's the end of my report.
So this time, we will have the question and answer portion. Anyone? Okay, yes.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Grace. I'm from UP Los Baños. I'm a student of MS Wildlife Studies. I'm just wondering how reliable is Lucid? Or is there a way to update the database? Or what's the algorithm behind? What's the basis of the program?
Actually, the program was developed at first to be used as a multimedia, how do I say this? It's a sorter for any topic you should choose. Since it was any topic, we decided to use it as a taxonomic key. So far it's easy to update. It's all up to you. All you just need to do is research on your own and add pictures and text. Well, for us, since we're just high school students, it is reliable for us because it is it was used by other people already before, and yeah.
Let's have another one.
Hello, I'm Kevin from Haribon Foundation. I'd just like to ask a simple question. You said that there were, you counted, I think, 7 families or something of Draco. I forgot the species name on your area. So,
yes.
How were you able to determine the family unit? Kumbaga, so like, how were you able to ensure that there was no double counting, that you didn't just, you weren't just capturing the same lizards over and over? Or was there like nest sites that you were able to look at para matingnan mo, masabi talaga na specific family ito?
Okay, so our basis was that first, in some areas there was already one male only, which is the traditional, which in our research was supposedly a family of Draco works. There's only one male and there are several females. In each study area, we look for every tree. And so far, what we do is that one person stays behind while the other scouts for possible sites. So for us, since there was one person staying behind to look at the previous species, my other teammates who were looking for have seen another family, while some of us were still staying at the same tree where the family was found. So that was the way to identify if it was a family fit. So.
Okay, thank you. Now this time we are going to proceed to the second research paper. Let's offer a big hand